When you think about an ice cream factory, you probably think about a facility like we visited earlier this year that mass produces it. But the market for artisanal, small batch, super premium ice cream is growing fast.
So we visited one such ice cream maker here in Oklahoma City, Boom Town Creamery.
Boom Town Creamery began in 2021 when owner and creator Angela Muir was on a quest for a really good handmade ice cream shop. Not finding one that she loved, she thought others might feel the same way. In true entrepreneurial spirit, she didn't just see a problem, she saw an opportunity.
To get started, she traveled to New York City to learn under ice cream legend Malcolm Stogo.
You may not know the name, but you know his work. He invented cookies and cream ice cream in 1978. Not long after Muir opened her first store, and less than 2 years later, Boomtown Creameries has grown to 3 store locations and a central production kitchen.
We got a tour of the kitchen from Miss Angela. And of course, we learned how they make small batch ice cream. To start with, you need an ice cream base.
The base is a liquid solution that contains the elements needed to create the ice cream structure, namely fat, water, and sugar. It can also contain thickening agents to get the right texture. We all have favorite ice cream flavors, but without a good foundation, we won't have good ice cream. The water primarily comes from milk, and the fat primarily from the cream. Some ice cream bases use eggs, but Boomtown does not.
My original mix that I used did have eggs in it because I thought the eggs tasted better. But then after using it more, it's like people have allergies, and also you kind of always have an egg like taste in the background. Custard is egg based, and so we like the cleaner finish of just without eggs because it just like you taste the ice cream and the flavor of whatever ice cream you have instead of having that kind of like egg flavor in the background.
Boomtown makes a super premium ice cream, which is required to have 16% fat. That gives their ice cream a smooth, creamy texture. Some flavors can also be added to the base. These would be the type of flavors that get mixed in evenly throughout the ice cream.
Things like vanilla, chocolate, and cinnamon.
This is for cookie butter ice cream. It's labeled on top, and so we take that mix and we mix it up with our ingredients. So that's got cookie butter in it, and then we stack it all in here so it's ready for our ice cream maker to make the ice cream.
The next step is the ice cream machine.
But first, hair nets and hand washing.
The base needs to be frozen so that water can turn to ice crystals.
Smooth ice cream. We want teeny tiny ice crystals.
These ice cream machines are specially designed to achieve that.
He's putting vanilla beans and our Madagascar bourbon vanilla he's just putting it straight into the machine. And then what he'll do is he'll pour in our mix. And so he's gonna take the lid off that and he's just gonna pour the mix directly into the machine because it's just vanilla. Sometimes it squirts back at him. And so he'll just pour both of those bags in, and then he'll turn the machine on, and then it'll turn it and freeze it and turn it into ice cream. Our liquid mix in here, and then inside, I'm going to show you inside this one actually. So if you open this up, and you see inside, there's a really large drum that goes down, and then this is a big ice cream beater, okay? So then this spins, the drum freezes, and then it turns liquid into ice cream, okay? It turns it into that soft serve consistency.
They also whip in air. Without teeny tiny air bubbles mixed in, the ice cream would be dense and hard and not very pleasant to eat. The amount of air is called overrun, and some cheaper brands take advantage of that by mixing in lots of air. If you've ever picked up a full container of ice cream that felt lighter than it should be, it probably had lots of overrun. Boomtown ice cream mixes in just enough air to get the right texture and no more. So you are buying great ice cream and not paying for extra air.
A really important factor is called overrun. So these machines, when they spin, they put air into the ice cream. Okay, so there's air that goes in because when we put 5 gallons in, we get about 8 gallons out. So there's an increase in the volume because there's air in it. Now, somewhere like a less expensive ice cream, they'll put 5 gallons in and get 10 to 11 gallons out. They have 100% overrun. So if you eat ice cream from the grocery store somewhere and it feels fluffy or airy, and it's not dense and creamy, that's because they added they added more air in it.
Any flavors delivered as chunks, like cookies, get mixed in after churning, so they don't get broken into tiny pieces in the mixing action of the machine. Boomtown is known for their creative flavor combinations. Producing ice cream in small batches gives them greater control of the add-ins that they mix in, including having the ability to make many of the add-ins from scratch right here in the kitchen.
This is where we make everything from scratch. Having small machines and having an awesome guy like Wesley making our ice cream in small batches, and then making everything that goes into the ice cream is really awesome. So you'll see here, looks like we've got some chocolate cake in there. Right here. That looks like, I think that's chocolate cake for our ice cream cakes, and then we'll cut it into rounds and then layer it with ice cream to make ice cream cakes.
Batch made also means someone is watching over each step of the process. If it needs a little more time in the churning machine, it gets a little more time in the churning machine. The ice cream is made according to its timetable, not some fully automated process.
So come here, look up here. So to me, that still looks a little soft. Do you see it's not like poofing? It's still kind of soft.
I see it like bouncing.
Yeah. So we're gonna let it run a little bit longer.
At this point, the ice cream has everything it needs to be great, but it's too soft and needs to be chilled more to fully set.
When you get ice cream at our store though, is it soft like that? No, it's not, right? It's a hard scoop ice cream. So what we have to do next, which is one of the most important steps about making ice cream, is this step right here. This is called blast freezing. So this freezer gets down to -20 also, but it gets down really fast because there's fans in there. Okay, so it gets down to -20 super fast, and then what happens is the ice cream, what happens when water freezes?
Turn to the ice.
Yes, turns into ice. Do you want ice in your ice cream? No, you don't. You don't want ice in your ice cream because then you would be biting ice and it'd be crunchy and gross, okay? So, you don't want ice in your ice cream, trust me. So, when we get this out of here, so do you know what milk is made of? There's a lot of water in milk, actually. There's fats, but there's a lot of water, okay? And so when water freezes, it turns to ice. When we mix it and we churn it, if we freeze it really fast, it doesn't get ice in it. So because it freezes so fast that it doesn't give it the water, there's all these little water molecules, and if it freezes slowly, they'll clump together and create ice. But because we freeze it really fast, they're stuck where they're at in the ice cream, and so they don't form ice. So it's like all these little guys, but if let's say we just put it in the regular freezer and it took like 5 hours to get to 0 degrees, we'd have all of this ice in our ice cream. But because the molecules freeze where they're at so quickly, you don't have ice because they don't form together. So there's always water in ice cream because there's water in milk. There's water in almost everything, right? And so that's why we have to blast freeze everything.
Ice cream that enters the blast freezer is either in containers for take-home purchase or left in the stainless steel tubs that the store scoops straight from in the cones and cups that they sell.
So we put 5 gallons of ice cream in here, and then this is a foot pedal, and it shoots out just enough for a pint. So it's a pretty fun machine.
After the blast freezer, the ice cream gets moved to a storage freezer, which is also really cold.
So when we built this facility, this was a really big deal to have enough space for a very large freezer. So this freezer is 20 feet by 30 feet. We hold it at -20. So you can see right here, this is -15 degrees right now. It's a little bit warmer than -20 because we did our delivery. So our delivery driver just left. So he was in and out of it getting ice cream out. So it's a little bit warmer than normal. Do you think you can go in to -15 degrees?
Well, without becoming an ice block,
Let's try. You want to try? We'll go in for a short amount of time, but this is where we store our ice cream.
Let's see if I can.
There.
Let me go in for
There. Go in.
a couple of seconds. This is cold.
Oh, I wouldn't want to get stuck in here, would you?
Hey.
You don't think about when you may not think about, but is very important when you are an ice cream company is how much freezer space you have. Okay, so freezer space is the name of the game because you can only make as much ice cream as you have freezer space for, right? Because if I don't have a freezer to put it in, I can't make it. I don't have anywhere to put it and it'll melt.
From here, a distribution truck will pick it up and deliver it to one of the Boomtown stores. Currently, they have 3 locations, but as word spreads, demand is going up. So it's possible we'll see more locations in the near future.
To help me understand the process from start to finish, Angela let me make my own half-gallon of ice cream. I picked vanilla ice cream with 4 kinds of cookies.
Alex's cookies. Okay.
Alex's cookies.
Yeah.
It had to spend some time in the blast freezer, so we didn't get to take it home that day. Instead, we picked it up from one of their store locations a few days later.
Thanks for the tour, and thanks for making great ice cream.
We not only enjoyed the tour and the ice cream, but it was great inspiration to see your entrepreneurial story.
See you on our next adventure.